Getting started in your media buying career doesn't have to be complicated. I'm going to show you a few things that you can do to get your first media buying job. All right, so one of the first things that I would encourage if you're gonna go into media buying is you've gotta be more than just a media buyer, not just a button pusher. You can learn a lot of the buttons to push on YouTube, free videos, inside of Facebook groups, but if you really wanna get good at marketing and get a job in media buying and be paid well to do it, you wanna become more than that, and you need to become a marketer. So there's actually quite a few books that I would recommend. First and foremost, Breakthrough Advertising. It's one of the best all-time books if you want to be in advertising at all. Copywriting, media buying, whatever, you need to read this book. It's probably one of the best ones and my favorite at all time. You've got, oh, this was a good one, Reason Why Advertising. Super short, really good inside of marketing, on copywriting. It's really good. Let's see. Ooh, Winning. If you want to be a media buyer at a high level, I highly encourage you to study personal development. Having the winning mindset and mental understanding and like drive is huge inside of media buying. When you think about media buying is 24/7 spending, right? And so it's like the stock market, but on steroids, right? It never stops spending. So Winning is fantastic. Relentless was his first book, and that's actually amazing as well. I highly encourage you to get that. Let's talk about... Expert Secrets. It's probably a classic. I think every internet marketer should probably read this book if you're a coach, consultant. You got to read this book, learn the understanding of conversions throughout a funnel. Outrageous Advertising. It's probably one of my favorites. I think one of my favorite things about media buying and coming up with ads is you get to think outside the box, right? What's the most extreme way I could describe my product or service? Outrageous Advertising really helps with that, thinking outside the box, coming up with outrageous offers, headlines, things like that. So I absolutely think this is one of my favorites. Human Psychology, the 44, or The Law of Human Nature. This Robert Greene, he's written so many good ones. 44 Laws of Power, Mastery. This one's all about just human psychology. The more you understand humans, the way we think, we're all really just narcissists, and it describes it, and the more you understand people, in my opinion, the better of a marketer you can actually become. And then, of course, $100 Million Offers. This is new. This came out by Alex Hormozi. It's actually a fantastic book. It's got graphics, but it's really about how to deliver a fantastic offer to the market. Honestly, shout out to him. It's one of the best books on marketing I've seen in a while. Not even just marketing, but just like developing offers, business as a whole. Fantastic book. But books have been a huge part of my growth. I think it's one of the reasons why I got to grow so fast is because I compounded the learnings of other people into myself. And we do that through books, through audiobooks, through podcasts. Taking what other people have learned, their failures, their lessons, their wins, and compiling into your own so you can avoid the mistakes. I think it's massive. But on media buying specifically, I highly encourage either Traffic Secrets or .com Secrets by Russell Brunson. But realistically, because platforms are changing constantly, I don't look to books much for information on media buying itself because it changes so rapidly. YouTube videos, groups, HemonX is the way that you would get around reading books about media buying. So study books for personal development, leadership, advertising, copywriting, marketing principles, things that are set and don't often change. And you can lead into more, online videos for everything else. But books, absolutely massive to get your next job. So when it comes to looking for the job itself, I recommend you, open up on Indeed, LinkedIn, search Facebook. If you go to Ad Buyers Job Board, there's plenty of businesses there looking for media buyers. But more than, where to find them, because finding the job is typically the easy part. The harder part is getting recognized by the hiring manager or the owner. And I recommend, one, ensure that your resume actually has detailed information on either where you do believe your strengths are or where your weaknesses are. I think a lot of the times when I look at resumes now, either people just don't have resumes anymore, or the resumes aren't actually entertaining or something you would want to read. They're more bland and using language that they probably just copy and pasted from a resume builder. So make sure there's uniqueness to it. It actually feels like a person wrote the resume itself. I'd say the second thing is talk more frequently about who you enjoy studying from. Many times when I see an application or a resume come across my desk and they talk about, people like Gary Halpert or Paris Lampropoulos or Kevin Rogers, they're talking about other marketers that they respect and study under, it gives me a much better view of what type of marketer they are. Because there's so many different types of marketers, when you're looking for a media buyer, you're also looking for people with maybe relevant experience or relevant people they look after. If I see someone loves Gary Halpert, I love that because I favor the Gary Halpert style of copywriting. And so it would be more attractive to me. So make sure that you're including people you studied from or look after. Another thing to keep in mind when you have your resume or you're trying to get noticed by the hiring manager, I typically, especially if you're underqualified, do whatever it takes to get their attention. One of the funniest stories I have is in my career when I saw a company that I wanted to work for eventually. They opened up a CMO position, and I knew I was not, qualified for that job. But I wanted for them to remember me so that when they did have a job that opened up, they would remember my application. And so I remember putting in the subject line of my email submission for the job application, I put the best application you've ever received ever in the subject line. And I did not get that job, but when they opened up a job I was qualified for, I actually emailed back in, they remembered me. So look for the little things that you can put inside of your application or your resume to stand out and be memorable. I like people with confidence. I like people who like to crack a joke and have a lighter humor. Understand what your hiring manager is more aligned with, whether that be more laid back or more professional, and adjust the way you submit your application according to the hiring manager's perspective or personality. Growing within a company is actually really easy. As a boss or a CEO, I'm constantly looking for people who are taking on more responsibility, who are finding gaps and creating the solutions without me asking for it. If you're someone within a company, your goal is to grow within that company, it's simple. Find the gaps and fill them and let your boss know along the way. Go ahead and orchestrate what processes to solve a problem within a company. Realistically, many of the problems that a CEO might not be aware of, you will be because you're on the ground floor. So if your goal is to grow, build your solution, build your growth, and then be able to duplicate yourself so that you can move on into the next leadership position. Alrighty, yo, what's going on, guys? I am gonna make the family some dinner. We got some awesome elk meat. Anyway, I don't have enough food for all of you guys to have any, so I've got to get cooking, you've got to get leaving. I'll see you in the next video. Cheers, guys. Ah, it burns.